What's up, guys? I'm Namath, and I'm so excited to have D Smooth in the studio with me right now. D Smooth was a contestant on The Voice this season, made it all the way to the finale, finishing third place. D Smooth is from Birmingham, Alabama. D, man, it's an honor to share the studio with you today.
Thank you, man. The honor is all y'all's, man.
I don't know about that, but I got to tell you, D Smooth, the first time I heard you sing, it was, of course, on The Voice. You know, ever since I was a kid, when I grew up, it was eat dinner, sit in the living room, and we're watching The Voice or American Idol.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I have one of them things, man, where I just love hearing somebody with a good voice, and especially if they make much of Jesus. I'm a very big faith guy. You know, you've been very vocal about God and, you know, kind of him guiding your direction in life. And so when I first heard you, D Smooth, of course, I didn't know you were from Birmingham, but I was like, man, that guy's got that soulful voice. You know, it's kind of contemporary, but also still kind of like, you know, a little bit of the classical throwback. And then when I heard you were from Birmingham, I was like, oh, dude, like this guy's from Alabama. You know, anytime I hear somebody from Alabama on any of the musical shows, you know, competitions, you just start following their journey. You fall in love with their journey because they're representing your home state, right? Like I'm always used to hearing people from California and Tennessee, right? Like because all the country people are in Tennessee.
Nashville.
Or everybody else is in California. But D, you went on The Voice, but I just want to talk about D Smooth first. Before we get into the whole voice journey that you went through and what the future looks like, who is D Smooth? You went to Minor High School, right?
So sure did.
Tell me a little bit about life growing up.
In high school, I did a lot of things. I was a sports guy growing up, so my whole life revolved around sports. That's all I did. Year round. So like in the summertime, we was in like the Little League World Series growing up. In the summertime, I played basketball as well, and baseball, and then we still had 7-on-7 football. So year round, I was very sportsy. When it came to school, my mom worked at the school, so my grades, she didn't play that. I got to get on my grades. I was at the top of my class throughout high school. Balancing. So I learned how to balance a lot, you know, still dealing with things, the what you grow up in, obviously, your surroundings and my atmosphere. So just been trying to break chains my whole life has really been my obstacle, you know what I'm saying? I went to college off of football scholarship. I ended up playing baseball as well. And I left after like 1 year. So that was like the oh my gosh moment, you know. A school that's giving you money, parents don't have to pay. They're like, why you want to leave, you know? And then I'm a first generation college student on my father's side.
That's awesome.
So it was almost like, why do you want to do that? Like they didn't get it, right? But I just knew it was I'm smart enough to make moves doing something else, and I just didn't want to waste any money or any time in school. So I kind of looked at it differently once I left, you know. And I had an opportunity to work for the first time. Got to work, I got the gig for the first time, like a little wedding. I had friends who graduated high school with me, and they were like in a jazz band or like any type of musical arrangement. And they like hit me up, hey man, I got this wedding, man. You know, you still be singing, man? I'm like, yeah, man. What's up, man? We gonna get paid $100, man. $100. You know, that was it then. You know what I'm saying? So I just got groomed into doing that. And I got the knack, or I just got hungry for like the live music scene. So I would literally, like at 19 years old, when I first came home from college, I came back home and I was staying with my mom, and I would legit go downtown, and I had like a goatee, right? So I still had facial hair, right? Man, I would go downtown and like try to sneak into these live music bars, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it wasn't necessarily sneaking. It's just like, you know, they didn't check my ID because I looked old, and I walk in there with like 3 other guys who they know or something, you know. But not knowing, man, that stuff molded me, and just like me watching it, I was able to like have a vision for it, you know what I'm saying? So I'm so grateful that I was even intrigued enough to do something like that at 19. So a lot of people see like this at 25, and they're like, man, you look so comfortable, man. It's because I started early, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
And you just get hungry for the art. The more you do it, you just get more hungry for the art, you know, for the craft. So I kind of treat it just like sports.
So what sports did you play? I mean, you talked a little bit about let's talk high school. You know, you went to minor high school. What was D Smooth? Was D Smooth, you know, pursuing music in high school? And in the sense of, obviously you were a sports athlete and you went to play college sports, but were you singing in high school, like thinking maybe this is a career I want to take, or was it just all sports and music wasn't even thought about?
Well, I will tell you this. So I did, like, when I was in like elementary school, I've been in a play. Then in middle school was my first time being in like the choir. And we only got in the choir because we wanted to take field trips. So it was like a group. The football team was in the choir. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So we were bad. You know what I'm saying?
I've been there. I know what you're talking about, you know?
You feel me? So that was so funny, man. But my choir teacher used to always like, just like, David, I want you to sing this solo. Or like, David, I want you. And I'm like, man, that mean I got to stay longer. That mean I got to do, you know what I'm saying? But she saw some things in me, man. It just like stood out. And from then I was like labeled like as a like, oh, you gonna do a solo, right? Oh, you singing a solo, right? So even at church every week, oh yeah, you're designated to sing the solo. Like, my goodness, it's like I couldn't escape it, right?
Yeah.
And once I got to high school, I didn't necessarily pursue music because I was in sports. Like, music just wasn't on my mind, you know, to do. But I always picked up an instrument because it's in my soul. Like, music runs through my veins. So I wake up with a song on my heart, you know, and I taught myself how to play the keyboard, to play the piano. I kind of looked up to Jamie Foxx. That's kind of who I base myself off of when it comes to like musically or anything having to do with entertainment. So I actually I was very active in high school. So I actually started like hosting events in high school, you know, being like a personality. Like, to be honest, brother, I could do what you doing. You feel what I'm saying? Like, and absolutely. That could have been like a choice for me, like growing up, because I felt like I was very charismatic. I feel like I have a vision for like creativity and just like with me putting things together and talking to people, man, this is like the perfect job for me. Like, bro, like I would love being on something like this on the news, like something like that. So, it came easy when you singing and like you able to emote your feelings and things on stage and people can like see you. It's almost like you feel like they're just like you. You know what I'm saying? Like, people see me and they see the stage and they're like, man, you feel so comfortable up there. You see, you know, you look like this. But to be honest, it's just like it was all like a process of everything that I'd done in high school, middle school, church. All this stuff has like molded me until now. It seems as if it does come easy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
But I've already had those moments to where I'm shaking and I can't even finish my first note in a room full of people, or like no one is in the crowd and I have to sing my butt off into the crowd too. You know what I'm saying? So the hard labor was like almost in hindsight. It's like I didn't even know I was going through it until you get to a point to where it's like, okay, now I get it. I can see it. And I understand why God brought me through all those hardships and all that rut. To now it's like, oh, man, I can see the light, you know? So I'm grateful, man.
I love that. Let's talk about some of those hardships. You know, like I think you use hardships and grateful. And I think anybody that's heard my story, D Smooth, and I'll share just briefly about it, you know, just really God rescued me from brokenness. You know, every day when I get to come to work in a big market, like at 22 years old, that is not a single thing I take for granted. You know, those moments, man, where you've seen the drug addiction, you know, that your brother battled, that you battled. You've seen your parents go through a divorce. You know, those are some of the things I had to deal with, you know, seeing your mom lose her home to a fire, you know, wondering, you know, what's going to happen next. I mean, you know, injury in sports, all these things that separate you from kind of God's plan, right? And he just uses that to mold and shape you into where you're supposed to be. Like, I'm supposed to be here right now. Like, I'm supposed to be at iHeart and be in this moment with you. So what were some of them hardships that you faced that just helped make you a better person, and maybe even in music specifically?
Yeah. That's a great question, man. I feel like just growing up from the neighborhood I grew up in.
And be as open as you want, as honest as you want, man. I want people to see this and hear D Smooth's story.
Yeah, most definitely. I think it's a mixture of just like what you grew up in, the atmosphere. I did not grow up in a big neighborhood. I grew up in the rural side of Birmingham, you know what I'm saying? One way in, one way out. Very country, like, you know what I'm saying? 2 churches, one of them on each corner. It was less opportunities back there, you know what I'm saying? So me knowing that and the way that we grew up, man, we grew up in a 2-bedroom house, and me and my sister, we shared a bed for like maybe until I was probably in the 2nd grade. We moved until like 10 minutes down the road. But my grandma and my aunt, we all stayed on the same street. And it was almost like a big family, like, because we are obviously, but it's almost like one household. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
So if I have a plethora of cousins, you know what I'm saying? I have a plethora of cousins. I only have one sibling, but a plethora of cousins, right? So if your mama didn't get to you, your auntie gonna get you, or your grandmama gonna get you, right? So everything was really ran through grandmama house. And grandmama house we had to move her out because her house was caving in, you know what I'm saying? Moving in on her, she just couldn't stay there anymore. But that's just the neighborhood I come from, you know. Man, all that stuff, man, growing up out there, them outside days, the grimy days, man, the way that they grew us up, my parents, my grandparents, it all molded me into the person now. You feel me? Like, it wasn't a one case. It wasn't like one scenario, because it was a lot. It's too many to name. You know what I'm saying? It's too many scenarios to name. I've seen it all, right? I've battled with just about anything that anyone from a black poverty-stricken neighborhood could, and just see certain things, right? So I knew what I didn't want growing up. You know what I'm saying? I knew what I didn't want to happen. And I'm so grateful that God has really like showed me that the difference between what you want and what's needed for you. You know what I'm saying? Because it's so attractive when you're all going through the same thing and you're able to do that, but some things are just not worth it. So I'm grateful that God has really showed me that at first, and he allowed me to be able to soar and choose my own decisions in high school, and like, okay, I want to do sports. I don't want to do the streets. I want to do this. I don't want to pick up a gun. I want to do this instead. I want to do, you know what I'm saying? Like, God really directed my mind to like, oh, okay, I'm attracted to this, but this is literally where I'm at though. This is my atmosphere. This is who I'm surrounded by. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's the most thing I'm grateful for, man. It's just like and once you do it one time, it's almost like a snowball effect. Like, okay, I can deny that, turn away from it, do something else. Okay, it almost come a part of your character. You feel me? You make it into its habits. So I made habits of like me being different. Like, nah, Dave, you can't do this, man. You got practice. Or you know what I'm saying? Made myself busy doing other things, and it just became the narrative. Like, I just set myself out to be different. Like, you have to be different because I want a different result out of life. You feel me? I don't want to be the same hamster wheel that I see my people in, my folks, my family. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just motivated by that, man. That's my biggest motivation. Like, somebody has to do it, and why not me?
I love that. I think when you look at life from that perspective, think about where you've come from. You know, you think about what you've come from. I think about what I've come from. Like, I want my passion and determination to be what drives me places. I want people to see that and go, there's something different about that guy. And I think that's what's so awesome about God is, man, you came through those hardships, but God never failed you. And as you're starting your music industry, God promises you that he's not going to fail you now. He's never failed you, and he won't start now. So let's talk about your music journey. You know, we have talked about who D Smooth is. Comes from Birmingham, but he now resides in Montgomery. Went to college in Montgomery at Faulkner. You auditioned for The Voice in season 21.
Right.
We just wrapped up season 23. You were actually on the show, but you were going to interview and audition on season 21, but you didn't get to. So walk through us what happened. And how do you audition for The Voice? Obviously, you got to go through a bunch of different steps, I'm sure, with different people. So just walk us through that journey of how do you get on The Voice, and then what happened season 21 that prevented you from coming on?
First of all, God is so good, man.
Amen.
Because I have made it to the end, and I didn't even get an audition in season 21.
Wow.
See, moments like that, that's what I live for. You know what I'm saying?
Bro,
like,
come on.
That's the testimony right there. But the process. So season 21, My friend was very intrigued by like the voice. Like you said, man, we grew up watching Ruben Studdard, Kelly Clarkson, Fantasia, Taylor Hicks. I remember all these guys, all these people that was on American Idol growing up. And we would like rush home. Oh, we got to vote, call in, do whatever we got to do. You know what I'm saying? I tell you what, that's probably the last time I saw any of those shows though. You know what I'm saying? So once you get older, you just have different interests. And I think my interest wasn't in like the singing shows, but I could sing. So someone just kind of brought it to my attention, and they made me kind of like sign up for it.
Mm-hmm.
And once I did that, it was almost like a domino effect, man. And I blinked and I ended up in California.
Wow.
During the blink, a lot of things transpired. A lot of time passed.
Just a few. Just a few.
You know what I'm saying? Just a few blinks, right? They ask for certain things once you make it to a certain level in the game. So like you'll do a virtual call. Everything is virtual now since COVID. So they've transitioned. I think at first it was all in person, you had to go to these arenas and actually try out in front of like 3 judges and like, okay, now we want you to go to this place. Now it's so much simpler, and it's simplified down to where you just in front of your freaking phone. You know what I'm saying? And like you sing a minute and 30 seconds worth of whatever, and then they say yay or nay, right? And then from then, that's when the process happens. So they'll ask for something else. If they still want you, then they'll say, hey, we want to schedule an interview with you or whatever. That'll be via Zoom. The process then, it'll be like another process of like round of interviews. And then eventually you'll look up and now you're on a Zoom call with 100 and whatever people, and they're telling you what's going to transpire with you going to LA.
There's that many people on the call.
Man, it's so crazy because only like 60 probably people, maybe 60 people get like aired. And we're up there with like 130, 40 people sometimes, so they have to cut down. So the people who on the Zoom, you have like 130 on the Zoom. When you get to LA, you're going to see it was like 115. You like, dang, where the other person went? Like, oh, wow, they must have, something happened, right? Got cut or whatever, right? And then during the weeks, people just started like trickling off.
Mm.
They'll cut them, or like things that happen and they just send them home, or background checks come back. That messes up some people, right? So, and even that right there, man, I'm so grateful that I've watched my steps thus far. You know what I'm saying? Like,
absolutely.
I didn't necessarily get into what I could have got into, and it could have been publicized, like, so it's very vital to watch your steps when you're young. Never understood why coach was telling us that. Like, never watch what you post and watch what you do this and watch what you do that. Man, that stuff comes back when you're in a position like this and you're trying to get somewhere over the hump somewhere. And I'm so grateful I didn't have to bat an eye at what my background looks like. You know what I'm saying? For me to prolong on the show or just anything in life. So that's a nugget in itself. So you get to LA and you're out there with 100 and different people, and they trickle down into about 70, 60-ish, 70-ish, depending on how many people they're taking per team. And that first time, the teams got filled up before it was my turn to
Season
go.
21. So season 21, the teams
Right.
were filled up before you could come on the stage and actually audition.
Right, absolutely. So with the access people, and it was probably about 20 of us, we just went home afterwards, right? And they kind of give you the platform to say, hey, man, we're going to give you, you don't have to try it again, and we'll just get you back whenever, So I kind of felt good, but that is when it really all started, when I came home from that time, because I almost felt like I didn't belong up there, because it was out of the blue. It was just like, y'all pick me, You get up there and they talk about school so much, and they talk about these technicalities, and I just don't know nothing. I don't even know how to read music. I don't know notes. I don't know what key we in, and they're talking so forcefully and like on that, so dynamically on that, like they know it, So I almost felt out of place, and I didn't have my lane, right? Like, I feel like I would have done well on the show, but I just didn't have my musical identity just yet, right? So once I came home, that's when my life transitioned. I was previously working like a couple jobs. I'm hustling, doing whatever, like, and I came home from The Voice the first time with nobody knowing. I couldn't tell nobody because it didn't happen on TV. So if it didn't happen on TV, it never happened. You know what I'm saying? So I couldn't tell nobody. I got all this free training and from a vocal coach and people teaching me certain things that I never knew. And I had to sit on it. So I'm watching my friends that I was just up here with. They thrive. They be whatever. I'm like, man, you know, like, wow, Lord have mercy. Like, so I went through that little time to where I was just really like trying not to be depressed. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I took that negative and turned it into a positive, man. I really stepped out on faith. I went nose first straight into it, and I quit my jobs. I quit everything, like everything. You hear me?
You said, I'm done, man.
Facts.
I'm going all in on this.
Facts. I started matching my income with like my gigs. You know what I'm saying? Like I was just focused on like being booked, I was able to dive into some other entities like acting. Shout out to Encore Theater, right here, Black-owned theater right here in Birmingham. I was able to be on tour with them on a stage play. A lot happened within that year, you know what I'm saying? And every month it was just like more growth. And now I'm like finding my musical identity because I am 100% in the game instead of it being like, okay, well, I guess I'll gig or I guess I'll do it part-time. No, it actually became my wife, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you have to take care of your wife. Like, you're equally yoked, right? So,
speaking of, are you married, in a relationship, single?
Nah, man, I'm in a relationship with Jesus.
In a relationship with Jesus. There you go. I'm with you. I am as single gets. I'm focused on my faith. But so season 21 wraps up. You didn't get to audition. Season 22 rolls around. Didn't audition. Did you try to audition for season 22 or you just wait till season 23?
Man, to be honest, these folks text me or email me and they were like, oh, we did all our cuts for season 22 and you wasn't in it. Real talk, out of the blue. Like, they didn't even like give me the opportunity. So I'm gonna be honest, that put fuel on my fire, right? Like, I'm an athlete first. So I was very motivated from not making it the first time. I'm like, man, they gonna have to hear me. So I gotta go in this lab. I gotta get better. I gotta go in the gym. I gotta hit the weights now. I gotta go harder, right? Yeah. That was my mindset. So when I got that email out the blue, right? You didn't even like consider me. That was kind of another like, okay, all right, I got something for y'all. So I legit started from scratch. I went straight to the first like line of business, which is auditioning again. And it was nothing but God's favor. I was able to have the same producer I had the first time. And he remembered me. He's like, whoa, D, man, where you been? Like, well, I know you was right there. What happened? Like, we got to go over this stuff, man. I'm going to put my stamp on this one, man. We're gonna try to get you right up there. Like, you know, so I was grateful to not go through the whole process again like I did the first time. It wasn't unfamiliar that time.
Yeah. So if you're just joining us, my name is Namath Pitts, and I'm joined by D Smooth. D Smooth is from Birmingham. He's a musician, went on The Voice, made it to the finale, finished third place. Gina Miles was the winner of Voice Season 23. D Smooth, let's pick up back at The Voice. You're now auditioning on live television. You get well, it's not live, it's pre-recorded, but you know what I'm saying. Now
Right.
people across the, not just country, but world are watching this. I remember exactly where I was sitting at when I heard D Smooth's voice for the first time. And I said, man, I'm rooting for that guy along with the other Alabama people. Got the opportunity to talk with Jerome Godwin, probably a couple months ago. But D, you're on TV and Kelly Clarkson turns around and Niall Horn turns around. And you've got two coaches that have turned around, which means, hey, this thing's getting rolling. Talk about that experience.
Yeah, man. So I will tell you this. I wasn't nervous the whole process.
You wasn't nervous?
I wasn't nervous.
I don't know if I believe that.
Yeah, I wasn't, but it's a catch. I wasn't nervous the whole process, right? Kind of just keeping myself mellow, just going with the flow. I'm not really starstruck by like people or whatever, so I just like to be in a room with great people, right? And I wasn't nervous, man, but you get to that audition day and like the gym, oh, look at me saying the gym, the auditorium or like where everyone is.
You took it like the gym. You've been putting in that work.
Yeah, man, the auditorium is like flooded with people and like it's almost an attraction on Universal's studio lot. So, the crowd is going crazy. The hype man is like crowding everybody up. Like it's a good fun environment to be in. You go on stage and it's so funny, man. I'm telling you, man, you can hear a pin drop in there, man. It's pitch black dark.
Quiet.
And like you can hear a pin. I'm talking about like if a mouse was scraping on the side, you can hear it. Like it's a mouse in here. It was that quiet, right? That was the only time I was nervous. Like I had a little bit of nervousness, like settle in my sternum and just like in my stomach. Man, my first little notes, I was like, I didn't know if I could finish it. I knew I was gonna finish it, but
you had it, man.
It was it was definitely an experience, man. Then Kelly turned for me early. She turned for me early.
Very early.
Yeah. Once she turned, I was like, all right, just do whatever now, right?
We just singing now.
Yeah,
this is the easy part, right?
And then Now turned for me, and picking them was a difficult decision too. But Kelly was just like so adequate about just like the things that she was saying. Like they just resonated with me so well. And I could feel that she felt what I was trying to do with that song and like appreciate it. And then I knew that they knew Ed Sheeran. Like, you know what I'm saying? I knew they knew him personally. So that's always a plus when you're singing songs like that.
I see what you're doing. You're trying to get some little, well, maybe if I take Kelly, I'll meet Ed, And
hey.
Which he did go on American Idol, but as a guest, judge whenever Katy Perry and Lionel were in a different country. But so you chose Kelly. You had Chance telling you, hey, pick Kelly. You had Blake saying, pick Niall. And you chose Kelly, and your journey started with Team Kelly. Did you get the jacket? Did you get one of them cool jackets?
Sure did.
Man, I got to see that. I don't think he's got it with him.
I got you. I'm bringing it with me next time.
Next time I got you. But you choose Kelly, and what happens then? Do you fly back home and wait, a month, 2 months? Do you stay in LA, and then they just go right into the next round of recording? You meet your teammates, you start spending time with them. I mean, how does this process unfold for people? I mean, are you in a hotel with all these people and hanging out with them? I mean, for somebody at home that wants to audition for The Voice, give them a little bit of what the process actually looks like from the inside.
Yeah. So I kind of stayed to myself during the whole process. Obviously, I had a little experience now from season 21, so I knew what to expect this time. And then we were still in the COVID realm, so it's a lot of things have transitioned and like pivoted since then. Now it's a little loose. It's more loose now. They have a lot of freedom. But as far as like the process, it's really up to you. If you want to meet people, if you want to gel with different people, if you want to be included with the different contestants and all the people that you meet up there, it's 100% up to you. A lot of people would just offer, their time and space, all that good stuff. But it's really up to you whether you want to gel with a lot of people. So for me, I really didn't like. Mine happened after the auditions. So after all the auditions happen, everyone goes home, whether you had an audition or not, or whether you got a chair turn or not. And then we all return. Who had a chair turn, or if you made a team, you given a date to return or whatever. So once you go back up there, that's when you kind of like, okay, I can meet people on my team. I meet other people on different teams. Like I was able to like gel with people. And then the next round is a battle round, so I'm really forced to like gel with certain people now. You know what I'm saying? Because we're battling each other. Who
from Team Kelly was someone that you just built a great relationship with, that you be friends with forever and support their music journey?
Everybody from Team Kelly. I don't have any favorites because they're going to beat me up if I tell them who my favorite is.
You can just tell me after the recording?
Right. Look, I will tell you this, though. I love Allie to death. Allie was my battle partner.
Yeah, man.
Allie was my battle partner.
Speaking of that performance, it was an incredible performance. This year, The Voice introduced the playoff pass. What this allowed was someone to skip the next round, which technically, in my opinion, D-Smooth, I may be wrong, you may disagree, getting the playoff pass would be better than winning The battle round, in my opinion, I'm just saying because you get to skip the knockouts and go straight to the finale or to the, playoff. And so you perform songs like Alan Stone's Unaware. You obviously talked about Ed's song Thinking Out Loud. You showcased incredible vocal abilities on the show. So much that Blake Shelton even said, man, you've got to go to the finale after you sang Thinking Out Loud. Speaking of your performances, what was your favorite performance from your time on The Voice?
My favorite performance was probably my last performance, which was my. Yep, Johnny Gill. Given because that song has never been done on the show. And there's a lot of things that goes into these songs that we don't have say-so in, So that was a big deal for this song to be sang on The Voice at this level in the game, It's never been done. So, and then it was really like up my alley. Like that's something that I grew up on. That was the first time I got to sing something that I have resonated with all my life. So that was probably the best song I've had to this point.
Let's talk about your round with Allie that you just mentioned when you guys were partners and you had to go at it for a spot in the next round. You got the playoff pass. The emotions that had to be felt when she announced her name, and now you're standing up there, you could go home. But then Chance the Rapper goes, I'm stealing, and then Kelly goes, no, I'm using my playoff pass.
Yeah.
Literally, that's how she did it. Like, I'm using my playoff pass. And man, what was that like in that moment, knowing you just went from could go home to now I'm on Team Chance to, well, now I'm still on Team Kelly and I'm in the playoffs. I don't even have to sing the next round.
Yeah, it's so when there's a lot of stuff that just don't get aired, first of all, and lots of they edit, But that whole week, man, we just didn't have I didn't have a worry that I was gonna go home.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
I wouldn't have. Yeah, I'm with you.
I just didn't have those worries that week, and
He was confident. All that work he put in the gym, you know what I'm saying? And gigs, the theater, it all led to that moment.
Hey, it really did though, man. And me and Allie, we worked together very well, man. Very receptive to the knowledge that she brings to the table, and she vice versa with me. It was just a very appreciative environment, and people just really jumped on that. So we met a lot of different people, and you hear things throughout the show, right? Like, we're not naive to what's going on the show. Hey, we got one steal left. Hey, I heard such got stole. Like, oh snap, I heard he got the playoff pass up, right? So going into the show, I knew that the playoff pass was available for Kelly, and I knew that everybody had a steal, or just I knew Chance and I think Now had a steal.
Mm-hmm.
So
Blake had already used his.
Huh? Yeah, Blake had already.
Well, see, they waited till the last episode on TV to show it.
I heard him use it in the studio, man. I was like,
man. There
another
goes
steal
one.
is gone.
There goes one. There goes one. Now there's three left. Well, two technically, because Kelly can't steal you.
Yep.
So.
Facts. And Kelly can't steal me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm hearing it. I'm like, oh my goodness. Like, oh man. So but man, you go up there and they just reassured you. We met with Kelly right before the show, and she just like, y'all just do whatever y'all been doing in rehearsal. I promise you, man, y'all sound so good. It's gonna be hard for me to choose, but I feel like y'all gonna do good. You know what I'm saying?
But hey, D Smooth, you know that playoff pass? I got you, Brian.
That's funny.
So you get it, and Alabama's Riley Tate Wilson gets Team Nile, which The Voice loves to leak performances before we see them. They leaked Riley Tate's playoff pass performance, and then they leave off the part where him and Michael B go at it. And then they leaked your location performance, and I'm like, oh, come on, you can't do that. Like, I got to hear more of this. Talk about the relationship with the Alabama guys that you met. Riley Tate, Jerome Godwin, who didn't make it as far, but made it to, the couple rounds.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then there was also another contestant, and I really hate that I've forgotten his name, because that's just not right. But there was another Alabama contestant as well who got eliminated. He might have been Team Kelly. I'm not sure.
JB.
Yeah, JB. So talk about your relationship with those three guys.
So JB stays in Nashville, so I don't really have a relationship with him.
Got you.
He grew up in Montgomery, so he has some roots down there. As far as Jerome and Lil Riley Tate, my freaking brother. That little boy is so talented, man. I really want to highlight Riley Tate real quick. Jerome, great talent. he was on season 19, I believe. So this was his coming back season
really?
again. Yeah.
He didn't tell us that when we spoke. And I got to tell you, too, I also want to give Jerome a shout out.
Yeah, facts.
I texted Jerome in the middle of this process, and he did not hesitate to respond to me on Instagram. Say, hey, man, here's the, who you have to go through to get me interviewed at this time. Obviously, it was a little bit easier with you now that the show was finished.
Right.
And he did an interview for us on air and everything, and has responded, followed me back on Instagram and everything, and has just been really, awesome. We've talked about trying to do some events together in the future ministry-wise because, obviously he's in the church and different things. So I just wanted to highlight him as well before you highlight Riley Tate.
Absolutely. Yeah. Shout out to Jerome, man. Great talent. He's a musician. His mom is a musician. He grew up in a musician household. The dude is anointed, just have anointed sound. Like I said, he was on season, I think 19. So this was his like redemption season and like coming back to take what was his. And he had a great run on the show. He's currently a dental assistant in
I need some help, Jerome, by the way. My teeth could use some work.
Get your grill
I
fixed.
seen you went in there and seen him. You go to his dentist?
Man, so let me tell you, man, I knew Jerome was a dental assistant in Montgomery, right? My brother, one of my close friends, he had to get some dental work done down there. He had to go under anesthesia, so he had to have a caretaker.
Yeah.
And I'm designated guy to do it. So we go down there and we go to the he goes in to get his consultation first, and he comes back to my crib and he's like, "Hey, bro, this dude named Jerome. I could have sworn I saw like a poster with him like in there." I was like, "Huh?" He was like, "I think he's on the show, or maybe he just like worked with the AUM folks." I was like, maybe not, right? So on the day of his surgery, I had to go in there and talk to the doctor, and the doctor was going through everything, and then afterwards, I was just like, I said, "Hey, I saw a thing out here that says you guys know Jerome." He was like, "Yeah, he's back there. Do you know him?" I was like, "Yeah, I saw him on the show. And he's a good dude. Oh, let me get you to meet him."
Yeah.
Then he comes from back. He was like, "David." I'm like, "What's up, man?"
So y'all had already talked at the show.
Facts, we just be,
I got you.
Yeah, we just be playing around, man. But yeah, that's my guy, man. Jerome. Shout out to Jerome Godwin, man.
Riley Tate, though.
15
years old.
Let's get on this dude, man. This dude, Riley freaking Tate Wilson. This dude is just
15
amazing,
years old,
man.
guys. 15 years old.
I think that's what is so difficult to like grasp with him because he's so talented. Like the dude is so passionate for the art and so passionate for the craft, and he's so inclined. It's almost like, wow, like what was I doing with my 15-year-old life? Like,
well, if you really want to know what I was doing at 15 years old, it wasn't making much of Jesus. I can put it that way.
No, it showed when making no music like him. The dude makes his own stuff. He's his own producer. He makes his own records, man. He plays instruments, different instruments. He plays guitar. He plays the piano. Dude is just anointed. He's covered by the blood, man. I'm telling you, man, that dude there, the way he can emote certain things, he just don't even know it too, I can hear it because we cleaning those that's my background, like the church roots and like, the anointed sounds and you just being captivated by certain notes or just like certain voices, like, oh my goodness. Riley Tate has one of those voices. He really does. And I'm so grateful that the world got to see it. And he's gonna be good. He's gonna be good. 100%. He's gonna be good.
He's got a bright career ahead of him. And
absolutely.
I was looking at Instagram comments during one of his performances, and this guy commented and was like, "Man, I get to be his youth pastor or whatever." And I remember from a guy that's been in ministry as a youth pastor, I was thinking, there's a little bit of jealousy. Like, man, imagine having Riley Tate freaking Wilson in your youth group. Like, I know who's leading worship on Wednesday nights. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you got that guy on the stage, man, God is, anointing him. I got to tell you, my favorite performance probably of, most performances out of anybody was his When the Party's Over performance that he did. And just the emotion he put into that was that was up there along with your location. Your location performance was my favorite personally because I like Khalid, listen to Khalid.
Thank you, man.
And so when you sang location, I was like, oh man, this is not like what anybody's done on the show. this is different. This is completely different. Like, I don't know how this is going to go. And then, man, you just absolutely killed it. And the judges responded to that. So we're going to kind of wrap this up because, man, and thank you for spending time with me today.
Absolutely,
to talk
brother.
about this whole journey.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and talk about the finale. You make the finale. It's live in Los Angeles. By the way, I don't know if you remember this, but you posted a video of you at the airport with Riley Tate Wilson, and y'all were getting on a plane, and it was the night that y'all were going to be on the show. And I remember I slid up, and you actually responded to this. I don't even know if you remember it because I'm sure your DM has just been flooded by people. But I said, this must mean y'all made the finale.
Mm-hmm.
And your response was, not exactly. And I remember going, no, that's bullcrap. Because I started noticing a trend. And I'm one of them people, it's not stalking, it's just I follow all of you guys. So I'm seeing like Noavis, did I say it right? He posted a picture in the sky on a plane. Grace West posted a picture in the sky on the plane. I'm like, well, they already made the playoffs. D Smooth and Riley Tate are posting a picture at the airport. Like, these people, you see there's a trend here. They're all flying, which tells me they're going to LA for the live shows.
Yeah.
But
little spoilers.
Yeah, little spoilers. I was like, look, man, I know you can tell me. You're like, nah, but man, you get top 3. You finish 3rd place. Incredible journey. Gina, such a fan.
Yep. Well deserved.
Such a beautiful voice, beautiful girl.
She is. Yep.
Absolutely. I really thought, I'm going to be honest with you, and I think Grace West is phenomenal, going to be a great country artist. I thought it's Blake's last season. A Blake winner is going to win it because the people are going to vote for a Blake winner or the show's going to make a Blake winner. So I was shocked when Gina won.
Mm.
And, of course, we were rooting for you. We voted for you. I voted for you, but we had that conversation like, oh, it's Blake's last season.
We had the same conversation.
They're going to make Blake the winner.
Yep. We had the same conversations. As like the contestants, exact same mindset. Like we yeah, they going to make it.
It's his last season. There's no chance they don't. But Gina Miles' name is announced, and I'm like, oh, my goodness, I can't believe it. They say 3rd place, D Smooth, and I'm like, all right, you got 3rd place. Like, my guy got 3rd place, and Kelly says to you, it's about what you do, it's about what happens next. So what's next for D Smooth?
That's a great question, man. Well, thank God that I've already accomplished some things as far as with me stepping out on faith. So it's not like I'm coming back to a job or like I'm coming back to something that I have to quit. It's almost like I had already started doing it, and now I got the college credits to like do whatever now, right? I have the degree. So for me, my objective now is to push my music that I want to make. I'm able to now sit down and make my sound. You know what I'm saying? All these years, man, I've avoided the studio with this person and this person and this person and this person. And now it's coming full circle because it's like, man, now I can sit down and establish my sound, what I want my music to sound like. And then I'm able to branch out and jump on a song, do this, do that, right? So I've already been having shows. I've already been in stage plays. I've already been included in things. God has really had his hand in just like molding me in different realms. So now I'm able to put this on my resume. Now the prices have gone up. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm able to monetize properly off of everything that I've already been doing. And hopefully now I can do that on a bigger platform. I could do that, push music, and then dive into some other things,
If people want to hear D Smooth's music, how can they access that? Do you have anything out anywhere?
Nope.
Or still, just so
Nope.
all they can get is the voice performances right now?
For right now, until I'm out this thing.
Guys, he's about to drop something.
You know what I'm saying? Until I'm out these constrictions of the show.
How long do those last?
Not too long. Not too long. You won't have long to wait for. Long enough for me to drop something.
Got you.
So,
well, I've seen people already working on them. I mean,
yeah.
Riley
Now,
Tate's leaking something.
I will tell you this. So, if you go to a certain point in the game on the show, your contract like kind of extends almost. Like you you're confined to doing certain things now.
Gotcha.
So all of the finalists,
Mm-hmm.
we legit had to they had to come in and talk to us like, okay, well, y'all really like into the contract now. So these are the things you can't do afterwards or until these days are over. Like, you know what I'm saying? So if you got eliminated before then, like these people putting out music. Walker Wilson, shout out to Walker Wilson. He just put out a song the other day, man. Great song, man.
I love Walker Wilson.
Yeah, man.
Some
Walker, that's my
Hurricane
guy.
is his song.
That is my guy. that is
guy's
my guy.
awesome.
But yeah, so it just depends on how late you be in the game. And for me, I'm obviously a finalist, so the restrictions are a little bit more hefty on me right now.
Buddy, I hope that things come together. You know, I know God's got his favor on you, man, and you've got a path that he set you forth on, and he's going to continue to bless you, and music's going to come. Obviously, you're on Instagram, social media. D Smooth Official is your Instagram username. He's active on Instagram. You may be watching this on Instagram, maybe on Facebook. So just tell people how they can find you on social media.
Absolutely. So Instagram, my name is D Smooth, DSMOOTH Official. You can go and follow me there. I post a lot of content on Instagram. Y'all, I really, really, really use my Instagram for my main things. And you can follow me on Facebook at D Smooth Music, my music page. Please go and like, subscribe, comment, share. Tell your mama, tell your sister, your brothers, your grandmama, your aunties about D Smooth, and we're going to try to still support like we still on the show.
Absolutely. And to close things, D Smooth, one last question for you. What's your message to those kids out there that are in rural Birmingham, from Anniston, my area, that are coming from those neighborhoods where it's gunshots every night, it's drugs, they lose their parents? How do you want to inspire those kids that want to be like D Smooth, that see D Smooth on TV and go, I want to be like that guy?
Man, you can do anything that you want to do. Our principal used to say, make it a great day or not, the choice is yours.
I used to say that every day on the announcements.
That was it. That was the announcement. And we took it for granted when we was in high school. Like, oh, okay, yeah. But that is absolutely correct, man. You can go against the grain. You don't have to do what the crowd is doing. It is fine to be different. You're going to deal with flack. You're going to deal with the things that come with that. But it is safe to be different. You know what I'm saying? You can be alive being different. You don't have to be a product of your environment. And I'm 100%, 1,000% a testimony to that. And I'm just so grateful that I was able to see it. And so my message is to my younger crowd, my younger guys, man. Once you see it, go do it, man. Go do it, go do it, go do it. Want better for your life, want better for your family. But at the end of the day, follow God's plan, and he'll set you up wherever you need to do.
D Smooth, Birmingham made. Now he's in Montgomery pursuing his music industry, and I'm sure that's just the beginning of another place that you're going to end up at pursuing music. D Smooth, I just want to thank you, man, again for taking almost an hour. You've been here a lot longer. You did interviews with local stations to talk about this journey with me, for responding on Instagram, man, for just making this possible, coming up from Montgomery. And also, man, thank you for letting your faith be known, you know, talking about God and how God has led your path and led your directions and been with you, because we live in a world right now, man, that people are afraid to be a follower of Christ. And man, like this world, and again, everything I do, it's a ministry. So I'm, want to make this a ministry.
Absolutely.
I want people to know that God's real and God loves them. And there is sin in their life that separates them from him. But man, that's the beauty of who God is and the beauty of his son, Jesus. Stepping in our place,
Come on.
paying the debt that we deserved, rising from the grave. Like monkeys didn't build this world. Things don't just go black when you take your last breath. As an athlete and as a singer, there's I think it's like not even 2% chance that someone will be a pro athlete.
That you can beat, yeah. Yep.
What's the percentage of people that actually become that musician? But there's a 100% chance that you're going to stand before God's throne.
Come on.
And, there's a 100% chance that, Matthew 7, one of the most frightening passages in the Bible says, many will stand before God's throne and say, well, didn't I do this? Didn't I do that? And he'll say, depart from me, for I never knew you.
Come on.
So, brother, thank you for letting your faith stand,
Yes,
man.
sir.
Thank you for making God's name known. And thank you for giving me this opportunity to just talk with you today. And, brother, if there's anything I can do for you, you just let me know.
I got you, man. Thank y'all for having me, brother.
D Smooth, check him out on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. I'm telling you, this guy, it's just a matter of time till he's headlining Mercedes-Benz Stadium and a lot more.